So in this video I want to introduce the TTIS system. It stands for Tractor Trailer Integrated System. And so this is going to be a template so that if you want to build a tractor trailer in game that you have all the correct lighting, you can use these microcontrollers. I'm a tractor trailer driver in real life, and one of the other systems a lot of people were using was SibTat. And well, you know, it's a pretty good system. There are some things lacking on it that I kind of wanted to go and seeing that I have some industry experience, I kind of want to go through and make a system that was a little bit more simulator, a little bit more real to life, and had some of the features that a real tractor trailer would have. You know, I'm based in the United States, so of course a lot of the lighting may be different depending on where you are. And so I put together a rig here, and as you can see, the parts in green are the parts of the tractor. That you can copy off this and put on your system, and then you can just use the color change to change the color out to whatever you want. When I release this, I'm going to have the tractor and trailer, the test model here, and then what I'll do is I'll have all the parts kind of in a nice tight group, so you can just copy the whole group of parts and put that on your vehicle. So if we kind of go through here, we have our directional and our headlights. We have the TTIS for the tractor. So the tractor, for those who might know, that's the truck portion. So when somebody says a tractor trailer, the tractor is the truck portion, and the trailer, of course, is towed by the tractor. So let's kind of go over the TTIS. So anything in green are the parts that you would want to take. The white parts are just example. And so let's kind of walk over. So you have your directional, you have your headlights, you have your TTIS microcontroller for the tractor. These are side directionals. On my tractor at work, we actually have two. We have one up here and one down below, but most of them will have at least one directional on the side so that if a car is sitting next to you, they can see your directionals on. I have a seat. You don't need to use the, copy the seat in. But on this test bed, it will show you where all the connections need to be made, and that way you can, if you want to connect to your own system, I'll put out a video of me actually converting my Mac Pinnacle to TTIS, and that way you can see that as well. There's a microcontroller for the fifth wheel release. So in real life, when you release the fifth wheel, you pull the handle, and then you pull ahead. And when you disconnect, it resets so that you can just back right into another trailer and connect. So I have this set up so that when you release the fifth wheel, we'll actually do it here. As you can see, it releases. There's a 30-second timer here. So this is going to give you plenty of time to get back on the truck, to pull apart, to disconnect your light cord. And then we'll hear in a little bit that this will automatically reset the fifth wheel release so that you could disconnect from this trailer, drive off, and then reconnect to another trailer. And if you want, I'm going to put a property number in here. So if you want to change that time to whatever you want, you could do that. So as you can see, it just reset it, and now it reconnects. So that allows you to disconnect a trailer, drive off, and go hook up to another trailer, like you would in real life. We have our clearance lights here. So these are yellow. So you'll notice all the lights are low here. This is what a flatbed would be like. So if you had a flatbed or a container chassis trailer, all your lighting would be low on the frame. If you have a box trailer, certain lights like your markers and your clearance lights on the front here, those would actually be at the top of the trailer. So if this was a 13'6" box like this, these three lights would actually be up here, and these clearance lights would be at the top. But for a flatbed, they're low here. So that's how I have this set up. Next thing we have is we have our light cords. So in real life, you have three connection points to a trailer. You have your light cord. That does pretty much just your lights and sends some information for the ABS system. And then you have a pneumatic line that is your emergency, and you have another one that's blue that's your service. So the red line essentially releases your brakes, and the blue line would essentially put your brakes on. So that's how that system works. So these are your two light cords connections here. Behind the tractor here, we have the these are both directionals and reverse lights. This is why I wanted to do. This is one of the main reasons I decided to do go from SibTat to my own system is I wanted the lights to work realistically like they do IRL, so I'll show you that shortly. We also have two reverse lights. Some tractors only have one. On the Mac that I drive, it has two. You have another light cord connection here. So this is if you were going to tow a dolly, or if you were going to tow a dollied trailer. It has the same connections as that other light cord here, so that way you can connect a dolly here and then connect the light cord. In the back here we have the outer side here are both brake directionals, and the inner inboards are just brake, and then you have your 3 marker lights. So let's go through the system here, and I'll show you how the lights work. So next thing, we'll look at the panels. So another reason I wanted to set up this system is in real life you have a bunch more controls, so I wanted to kind of get more simulator with this. So first is simple, it's your headlights. So as you can see, it turns on the headlights. It also turns on your running lights. So if you see there, you see your 2 clearance lights, your front and your side clearance lights. Those come on, and you'll notice all your rear lights come on dim. Alright, so that's your headlight switch. Alright, next we have a trolley brake. So what a trolley brake is it just controls the brakes of the trailer. It does not control the brakes of the tractor. So just these wheels will go. And so this is used in real life. For example, if you're going to jackknife a trailer, if the trailer starts stepping out to the side, like, you know, if we get some snow and the trailer starts stepping out to the side, you could put on some trolley brake, and that allows the tractor to keep going forwards and the trailer to try to stop, and that will straighten you out. We also, when we connect to a trailer, you back into the trailer and you connect. And to make sure you have a good sound connection, you'll pull ahead with the tractor, and then you'll tap some trolley brake, and that will set the trailer brakes gently, and then the trailer will try to stay, the tractor will go, and if you have a good connection, they'll stay together. If they don't, the trailer will fall off the back, and you want that to come off while you still have the landing gear down. This trolley brake is also, if we look on the left here, if you look, it's actually not on there. It is on there. See space, trolley brake, trailer brakes only. So if I press the space bar, I will also get trolley brake for the trailer. So, you know, I can show you some of that. Next from there is the Jake brake. Now what a Jake brake is it's named after the company Jacobson. They came out with the Jake brake, and so what it does is with a diesel motor, you know, most motors frankly, you have your intake stroke. So the piston comes down, a valve opens, the air is blown into the cylinder as the piston is going down. The valve closes, the piston comes back up, that's your compression stroke. So as you go up, the piston goes up and compresses the air. Now on a diesel, it then injects diesel fuel into the cylinder, and you get actually get a homogeneous mixture, which is unlike a gasoline engine. That fuel ignites, expands, it pushes the piston back down. That's your power stroke. Then the piston comes back up, a valve opens, which is your exhaust valve. It pushes the exhaust out and out the system, and then it starts over again. What a Jake brake does is it's used often when you're going down a hill and you need some extra braking. So if you're in a tractor trailer, you don't want to be riding your brakes going down the hills all the time, because you can heat up your brakes, you can get brake fade, and you can get into a situation, especially if you're coming down a mountain, where your brakes will essentially stop working. And so if you can imagine it, you're going down a mountain, your brakes stop working, that is no bueno. So if you'll actually see, sometimes there'll be truck runaways that are big ramps with gravel, and that's if a truck doesn't have, you know, if the brakes are faded and they're not working, you can run up that ramp and not, you know, crash. And so a Jake brake helps with this. What it does is when the so essentially what you do is you click the Jake brake on, and when you take your foot off the accelerator, it activates the Jake brake. Now what it does is it actually changes the way the valves work. So the piston comes down on the intake stroke, it takes in air. When the piston comes back up on the compression stroke, it's not going to add fuel. And so what's happened is it's essentially turning the engine into a big compressor. So the piston comes up, that's offering resistance, which is causing the wheels here to have resistance, which helps you slow down. And then at the top of the compression stroke, the exhaust valve opens. And so the compressed air is allowed to escape. And then the piston goes down again, intake, compression, escapes. And so what you'll get is a sound, it goes lub, 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 lub. So if you ever hear a truck making that sound when it's coming to a stop, it goes lub, 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 lub. That's because the Jake brake's on. So the Jake brake here, when the Jake brake is on and you have less than 90% forward throttle, so essentially when you take your finger off the W key, it's going to put about 1.1 brake in there. So about 10% braking power just on the tractor. So you'll have no trailer brakes, just tractor. So this is going to allow you to come down hills here. And if you have the Jake brake on, every time you let go of W, it's going to help you slow down a little bit. All right, so that's what a Jake brake does. Below that here we have supply trailer. All right, so the way this works in real life is you have a compressor, you have air tanks, and so the air will come up through and there'll be a physical valve here. And the air will come up and there'll be a physical valve here. The brakes on a tractor trailer system are what is known as fail safe. So the brakes are on if there's no air. If you have air and you supply air, that actually releases the brakes. So the default state of the tractor is brakes on. The default state of the trailer is brakes on. So if you see a trailer just sitting out in the yard somewhere or at a building, those brakes are on. All right, and so what you need to do is you need to open that valve and let air come through the system. And in the case of the trailer side, it would go through the system, it would come out, it would go into the trailer, go through the trailer, it would come down to air cans, and it would open up the air, it would push in the piston in the air can, and it would release the brakes. All right, they actually spring on, so the springs will keep the brakes on. And so the air is keeping the brakes off, essentially. So what you need to do is you actually need to push a button, and these are color-coded correctly. You have your trailers on the left. That releases your trailer. You can see we just moved a little bit because the trailer released. And you have tractor release. And as you can see, it allowed the tractor. So if you wanted to get going, you just wanted to move here, you could select both of those. So that's an accurate system, how they would be in real life. So again, I'm trying to make this as much of a simulator as possible. So let's go through some of the systems here. So I've just hooked up a simple electric motor to this and made this so you can steer, so you can kind of see functionally how it goes. So let's start by going, we have our headlights off. All right, so the first thing we want to do, let's put on our left directional. So that's the 1 key. And you can change these to whatever you want, but this is how I have it default set up. So the 1 key is the left directional. So as you can see, we get an amber in the front. We have an amber on the side. As you can see, we have a red on the left side of the tractor, and we have a red on the left side of the trailer. So that's with your headlights off, and that's accurate to the US system. All right, I'll press that again, that's off. 2 is your right directional. As you can see, we have right directional both tractor and trailer, and we have amber in the front. 3 is your hazards. As you can see, we get both ambers, we get both reds. All right, so that's that. Next thing, brakes. If I press down on the S key, we get brakes. As you can see, they are brighter than if I have directional on. So let's shut those off again. If you notice, directional is nice and dim. Brake lights are bright. This is how it would be in real life. So this is another reason I wanted to start this system, is I wanted to be able to have the ability to make the brake lights brighter. All right. So now let's turn on our headlights. All right, so our headlights are on. So with brakes off, as you can see, we get marker lights, we get tractor marker lights, we get tractor running lights rather. We have clearance lights on and headlights on. I can still do directional, and they're in the dim state. As you can see, I can do all my directionals, I can do my flashers. I can still do brakes. As you can see, the brakes come on bright red, and I can also do directionals. So I have bright red lights for my brake lights, and I have directionals. The marker lights here in the back and the clearance lights, they do not get brighter. So that's how it would accurately be in real life. So let's go ahead and let's move. So to start moving here, you need to, so let's say you did not have a trailer. You don't need to supply the trailer brakes. We'd actually leave that pulled out in real life if we did not have a trailer. So in this case, we have both a tractor and a trailer, so we need to release our tractor brakes. And we need to release our trailer brakes. And this is just a gauge that I'm going to delete. That's just showing me my accelerator. All right, so let's start going. Alright, so we're going to start going here, and I'll go through some of these. So we'll just start running down the... we'll actually go up the mountain a little bit here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start going here. And so the first thing we'll do is we're going to trigger the trolley brake. Now we can either use this button here, and as you can see, that builds up. So the longer I hold that, that's essentially on an up-down counter. That's going to increase, and that's going to slowly let the trailer brakes come up so you don't just skid them. So it's kind of working like an ABS system. Now, the other thing you can do is you can press the space bar for the trolley brake. Again, trolley is just the trailer. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hold the space bar. Alright, so you can see just the trailer's going. Alright, and what you'd actually do in real life is you wouldn't slam on the trolley like that, you would tap it. So we can tap our space bar. And as you can see, no skidding. So that's how we do it in real life. If you pull down on the trolley brake hard in real life, you will lock up the trailer. If you tap on it like that, you'll be nice and gentle. And the reason why just the trailer was skidding, as you can see, is because the tractor does not have any brakes on. It's just the trailer is the trolley brake. Alright, so let's keep going here. Next thing we want to do is let's do the Jake brake. Alright, so we turn the Jake brake on, like we would in real life, and we leave it on. Alright, now my finger is on W key. Now if I let go of the W key, it's going to start to add brakes automatically. As you can see, all I did was take my hand off the W key. So what that's doing is Jake brake would most likely be used, you know, like I said, if you're coming down, say, a mountain. So let's go ahead and we'll go down this hill here. And I got to make the turn tight because I cannot reverse with this the way I have it set up. All right, so we're gonna go here. So Jake would most likely be used when you're going down a large hill, and that's to save your brakes. So again, it's you know, it's a simulator thing. It's not, you know, you don't really need it. But the nice thing is here, we're coming down a hill. All I did was take my finger off. As you can see, the brakes are being applied. All right, so that slowed me down as I was going down the hill. It even brought me to a stop. So this allows you to just keep the Jake brake on and let go of the key, and it will gently try to slow you down. All right, and that's just tractor brakes. That's not any trailer brakes. So that's good if you have a heavy load and you're coming down the mountain, you leave the Jake brake on, you're going a little faster than you like, you just take your finger off the W key. Now as soon as it drops below 90%, it's going to apply 10% brake. All right, so now as you can see, brakes on. And so all that's doing is that's helping us modulate our speed. And this is how it'd be in real life. I turn the Jake brake on. If I take my foot off the accelerator, the Jake brake automatically comes on. If I put my foot back on the accelerator, Jake brake comes off. All right, so like we're going down a hill here. I have the Jake on. We're starting to slow down nicely. I just press on W again. The brake comes right off. So that's the Jake brake. And then you can shut the Jake brake off if you don't want it. All right, so that's the TTIS system. I don't have landing gear on this, but again, so if you want to set your brakes, you can. Now it's just trailer brakes on. That's just tractor brakes on. That's trailer and tractor brakes on. All right, so this is a simulator-based system, how a real trailer would work. And again, the last feature, like I was telling you, is you have a fifth wheel release that has a 30-second timer. So that would be good if we wanted to disconnect. We would get out. We would press our fifth wheel. We would take our cable with us. We would then jump on the seat. We would drive away. We'd make sure we put our landing gear down. I'll put some simulated landing gear on here. And then we would go connect to another trailer. So like in real life, you don't have to get out and reset it by hand. As soon as you pull away, it resets. So with this, it has a 30-second timer. So you should see here in a second, this will reconnect. All right, there it goes. And we reconnect. All right, so this is the TTIS system. I'll make a video of actually converting my Mac to TTIS. I'm going to make a video of converting some of my other trailers to TTIS. So this is going to allow you to have a much more realistic system that you would have IRL. All right, thank you for watching.